Alright, what's going on guys? Slim here and welcome back to another video on the channel, and in today's video I want to talk about the spring update that is coming in 2024 and talk about everything that we know about it so far. So starting off with the first point, we're going to talk about the new Gauntlet that's coming out, and we basically don't know anything about this new Gauntlet except for, well, there's a new Gauntlet coming out. Now I would like to talk about the Gauntlet we got last year around this time, which was the actual Nightmare Gauntlet. Now, this gauntlet actually is pretty cool, and I did not mind the gauntlet itself in terms of content and stuff like that. However, this gauntlet had a couple of flaws with it. The Nightmare gear was one of the packs that were pay to win last year, and the reason it's pay to win is simply because the pack comes out way before the gauntlet actually does. So if KI is going to keep the same model, there should be a new pack coming out pretty soon with a new template. Maybe they're going to be doing things differently this year and actually listen to community feedback and actually have a pack release with the gauntlet. And that's kind of what I'm really hoping for, because that's one of the main criticisms KI has been getting. So I'm really hoping that if it's meta gear, which it probably will be, there's a free-to-play alternative at launch, or at least within the first week of the new gauntlet. I also do want to talk about pity systems. The Nightmare pity system was kind of bad. I'm not gonna lie, there's a couple of things wrong with it. But yeah, you would just walk right into the dungeon here, and you would see the crafter guy right here. And he would actually drop the, I think it's the wand to the deck, but he wouldn't drop the hat, robe, or boots, you know? So if we are gonna have a pity system, I hope that we can get everything at a reasonable rate. And one of the big problems I had with this gauntlet in the first place was actually the fact of the matter that you would have to go all the way to the dungeon, do the fight, just for one drop, or not even get guaranteed a drop at all. And you gotta keep in mind, guys, right? It's from the hat to the deck of all 7 schools. The odds of you getting something you actually want, putting all that time in, and getting to the end of the dungeon is like really, really low. Next up, I want to talk about the Arc 2 Spellements. Now, this is probably what most players are excited for, including myself. Artie and Cam have actually been specifically hyping up Storm Owl quite a bit. So yeah, this card's been getting hyped up a lot, and Cam actually teased it a little bit. He basically said it would be under 2,000 damage. Now, I'm not sure if he was being sarcastic about like the whole buff storm thing, or like he generally meant it would be like under 2k damage, as in like, I don't know, 1,800, 1,600, 1,500. Main deck Owl right now in the meta is simply just not good, because the other 10 pip hits in the game, like, you know, Sun Serpent TC or Sabretooth, are simply just roughly about the same TPP, but they get way better stats on their school and or utilities. So it's safe to say, at least in the meta, this Owl is just way too weak comparatively. So I'm really hoping that, you know, this Storm Owl buff either gives it a crap ton more damage, or the Spellement Path B path is going to be absolutely nuts. Also, we have things like Sirens, right? This card actually might, you know, be pretty good, and I think it might be. You know, I really think Sirens could be a good card, and this spell is actually one of my favorite Storm cards, and you guys never really hear me talk about that because I don't really use it in PvP. Nobody does, and in PvE, obviously you're better going for like a, you know, a Stormlord, or, you know, a Tempest, or a Bunny Up and stuff like that. So I'm really hoping they can make this card good and desirable in PvE. We also have spells like King Artorias as well. I believe these were confirmed to be getting an audit as well, so I'm really looking forward to that. And we also have legacy cards like Leviathan and Ifrit and stuff like that, which actually don't follow the new Rochambeau rules. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to do this update. What I think they're going to do, and what I would do as a dev this update personally, is I would no PvP the current paths, so like this Leviathan you see on screen right now. Then I would make a path B that actually follows the Rochambeau, and then I would also ban the TC. So like Ifrit, for example, right? Ifrit hits and weaknesses when fire isn't having anything to do with weakness on the Rochambeau, right? So Ifrit TC would get banned, and Path A would get banned, and then Fire would have a new utility on Ifrit for PvP at least. I definitely think the Arc 2 Spellements could be a hit or miss. I think they'll probably be a hit because there's so many legacy spells, man. There's like, you have the original, like, you know, Skeletal Dragon, you know, Snow Angel, stuff like that. Like, really cool, hyped up cards, you know, from when we were younger. So I'm really, really looking forward to see, you know, if they can really capture what made those spells good in the first place, the charm and the charisma of the school identity, and you know, make them pretty good this time around. Also, another thing I think is important talking about on this point is how are we going to acquire these Arc 2 world Spellements. Now, the first criticism, or sorry, the main criticism I'd say of the Spellements in the first place was the fact of the matter that acquiring the Spellements for a max level character at least, or just anybody in general, was extremely tedious. As a max level wizard, I actually had to delete one of my 7 maxes, which was my death, Liam Wraith actually, at the time. And then I had to make a new guy, and then farm all my Spellements on him, and then trade all those Spellements to each character, you know, my Balance, Myth, Death, Firestorm, you know. What I'm really hoping for this time is max levels can just farm the Spellements as a normal player, because they can work towards their stuff, you know, drive up that player engagement for KI, and also help, you know, lower rank people, lower level people get Spellements as well, and just make the whole system a bit more, you know, eco-consumer friendly. And the only other way for a max to actually get drops, I believe, is rematches, which are extremely, extremely underwhelming in general. I may make a whole video on that, but there's that, or you can make a pet, which is extremely inaccessible to make the retriever pets. And the last thing I want to talk about is going to be some more PvP balance changes. Now, Kraken and Stormzilla already has talked about this in the test realm server. Sorry, the KI server now. My bad. I kind of got confused. There's like 3 different servers. But anyways, already did talk about it publicly. Stormzilla is actually going to be going to 4 pips, or be swapping with Kraken in terms of utility. And then Kraken, which is to counter fire, is actually going to be going to 5 pips. So basically, the protected overtime counters are going to be getting worse for everybody. So I'm really wondering if players are still going to, you know, invest in the Storm, with Triton being like 6 pips to counter a hot, and now 5 pips to counter a dot and stuff like that. It's pretty pricey to get rid of those overtimes now. I'm kind of interested to see, you know, what the Stormzilla buff is going to be looking like. I do know a couple things about it that I'm not going to comment on, but I think the main issue with this card is the fact of the matter that it's very proactive. You have to do like 3 steps and hope that none of them get countered. And then on top of that, you don't have a lot of time to actually leverage the hots that could also just get countered in general at any time. Taking this down to 4 pips might help out a little bit, and I'm really hoping they can extend the amount of time you have to leverage hots in general, because I think that's kind of what makes them bad in both raids and PvP. But what do you guys think about this stuff in the comments below? Are you excited for the spring update? I imagine there's probably going to be more. I imagine we'll see minions this year. I assume we haven't seen them in quite some time now, so I really hope we can see minions pretty soon. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching, and take care, y'all.